Can you confirm with News Nation that you're running for president?
Boy, that would be a nice confirmation. There'd be a lot of people that would be very upset about that. But I think you're going to be very happy. I think people are going to be very happy at what I do. I was going to do something last night, actually, that would have made the place really happy. And so we're doing it a few days later. And I think people are going to be very happy, very impressed.
To your predecessor, who is about to launch another campaign. So how do you reassure them, if that is the reason for their questioning, that the former president will not return, or that his political movement, which is still very strong, will not once again take power in the United States?
Well, we just have to demonstrate that he will not take power.
In order to make America great and glorious again, I am tonight announcing my candidacy for President of the United States.
There's breaking news out of Palm Beach, Florida. Former President Trump says his Mar-a-Lago home there is being raided by the FBI.
For the first time ever, a former president of the United States has been indicted.
Former President Donald Trump indicted for a second time.
A federal grand jury indicted former President Donald Trump. It marks the third time the former president has been indicted.
Breaking news on former President Trump. He's been indicted for the fourth time in 5 months.
Breaking news, this is an image that will be in the history books. This is the mugshot of the 45th President of the United States.
The optics of this is working to his advantage. Look.
Breaking news from Colorado, where the state Supreme Court has just disqualified former President Donald Trump.
Donald Trump found guilty on all 34 felony counts.
The total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Take a look at what happened.
The next president of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
I proudly accept your nomination for president of the United States.
Let Trumpomania run wild, brother!
So I've decided the best way forward is to pass the torch to a new generation.
She's going to my philosophy now. In fact, I was going to send her a MAGA hat. They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats.
Investigation underway after the second assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump.
As I was saying,
as you can see, I'm not just MAGA, I'm dark MAGA.
Get in there.
Let's go! I want to be a whale psychiatrist. I'm going for a job right now at McDonald's. I really wanted to do this all my life. I've now worked for 15 minutes more than Kamala.
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
How do you like my garbage truck? This truck is in honor of Kamala and Joe Biden.
Here are our first projections. There, NBC News projects that Donald Trump has won the presidential election in Kentucky, Indiana. In West Virginia, Donald Trump is the winner. Florida, Tennessee, Missouri, Alabama, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Arkansas, Texas, North Dakota, South Dakota. NBC News also projects a winner in the Wyoming presidential race, Mississippi, Louisiana, Ohio, Kansas, Utah, Montana, Iowa, the state of Nebraska in the presidential contest, Idaho. The first swing state is North Carolina, going to Donald Trump. Donald Trump has prevailed in the presidential race in Georgia. Pennsylvania. NBC now projects he is the winner of Michigan and its 15 electoral votes.
Donald Trump is the winner in Alaska, picking up 3 more electoral votes.
Donald Trump has won the state of Wisconsin. He is the winner of this race and will return to the White House as this country's 47th president.
Hey, look what happened. Is this crazy?
What's going on, everyone? Welcome into CobraCast 199. I am your host, Jeremy Prime, Magi of the 199. Happy to see all of you here today on a Thursday. And as every day in the Trump administration goes, there's a lot happening. There's a lot to cover. There's a lot to catch up on. There was a lot yesterday. I wanted to go live yesterday. I had my Geeks and Gamers stream yesterday. Then we had the Mario Kart World stream last night, and I just had too much to do in between those streams, so I couldn't really work in a couple of hours. With all the stuff that was going on, though, I really wish I would have gone live, but we'll catch up on it today. Delta Entertainment for 5 says, what's up, Jeremy? Getting ready to watch the F1 movie. Hope to see you later. Hail CobraCast. Hail the 199. Thank you, Linko Kenobi. Appreciate that. Aaron James says, because I sent it too late at the end of yesterday's stream. Happy birthday for 2035, Jessica Lindstrom. Appreciate you and all the mods. Look at there. Look at there. Netflix Yahoo says New York is fucked. Yes, it is indeed. And we'll talk about that as well. John Gets Gaming says Trump called Israel and Iran children. So true. Aaron James says chat loves Jessica and Macarena. Agree. Look at there. Look at there. Let's go. Let's see. Did I say Macarena? I always say Macarena. What the hell's wrong with me? Macara. The fuck's wrong with me? God dang it. Gifted membership time. Already got to send some fucking gifted memberships, man. Like already. All right. Here we go. Got to send the freaking gifties. Like it's just a bad start for me. Bad start. Bad start. Let's see here. Here we go. 10 gifted memberships. Hurry up. And there we go. 10 gifties. Great start. Great start. Epic Mike says simple Jeremy. You're half black, Mike. You don't get to have an opinion. So there is the 10 gifties right there. So, all right. We are off to a terrible start as expected. It looks like President Trump is going to be live soon. I'm keeping an eye on that. President Trump participates in the One Big Beautiful event. So I'll keep an eye on that. I want to jump right into it because Trump just sent this one out. President Trump announces it was Democrats who leaked the Iranian strikes intelligence report out of context to CNN and the New York Times. They should be prosecuted. Get it done. Make an example so the leaking stops. So that was just posted by President Trump. And I think it's important to kind of highlight something that it happened yesterday. And that was the press conference with Pete Hegseth yesterday. And before we play the one from yesterday, I want to play one from 2 days ago from NATO. I got to say, man, I think I would like to see Pete Hegseth as JD Vance's vice president. I think I would like to see Hegseth, a Vance Hegseth ticket. I think that would be incredible because Pete Hegseth is a freaking gangster, dude. Listen to this guy right here.
Let him answer this.
Hello, Mr. Secretary.
Yeah. There's a reason the president calls out fake news for what it is. These pilots, these refuelers, these fighters, these air defenders, the skill and the courage it took to go into enemy territory flying 36 hours on behalf of the American people and the world to take out a nuclear program is beyond what anyone in this audience can fathom. And then the instinct of CNN, the instinct of the New York Times is to try to find a way to spin it for their own political reasons to try to hurt President Trump or our country. They don't care what the troops think. They don't care what the world thinks. They want to spin it to try to make him look bad based on a leak. Of course, we've all seen plenty of leakers. And what do leakers do? They have agendas. And what do? Do they share the whole information or just the part that they want to introduce? And when they introduce that preliminary, a preliminary report that's deemed to be a low assessment, you know what a low assessment means? Low confidence in the data in that report. And why is there low confidence? Because all of the evidence of what was just bombed by 12 30,000-pound bombs is buried under a mountain, devastated and obliterated. So if you want to make an assessment of what happened at Fordo, you better get a big shovel and go really deep because Iran's nuclear program is obliterated. And somebody somewhere is trying to leak something to say, oh, with low confidence, we think maybe it's moderate. Those that drop the bombs precisely in the right place know exactly what happened when that exploded. And you know who else knows? Iran. That's why they came to the table right away, because their nuclear capabilities have been set back beyond what they thought were possible because of the courage of a commander-in-chief who led our troops, despite what the fake news wants to say.
Dude, this guy is on freaking point. I mean, Hegseth is not messing around. And this guy, I mean, Trump made a hell of a pick with him. And he caught a lot of criticism, you know. And this is a clip from today with Pete Hegseth right here. Listen to this right here.
Acknowledge the female pilots that also participated in this mission. The early messages that you sent out only congratulated the boys.
So when I say something like our boys and bombers, see, this is the kind of thing the press does, right? Of course, the chairman mentioned a female bomber pilot. That's fantastic. She's fantastic. She's a hero. I want more female bomber pilots. I hope the men and women of our country sign up to do such brave and audacious things. But when you spin it as, because I say our boys and bombers as a common phrase, I'll keep saying things like that, whether they're men or women. Very proud of that female pilot, just like I'm very proud of those male pilots. And I don't care if it's a male or a female in that cockpit, and the American people don't care. But it's the obsession with race and gender in this department that's changed priorities. And we don't do that anymore. We don't play your little games. Yes, right there.
Uranium was removed.
So good. So good. We don't play your little games, and we're done with it. We are, everybody is done with the media's bullshit. Everybody. Hegseth even, man, he was calling everybody out. He was calling everyone out. This woman from Fox News, he completely put her on blast, this Fox News reporter, and she did the meme. She did the meme after he called her out. Let me see if I can find it. Is this it? There's several clips. This isn't the one where he called her out, I don't think, but this is another one right here.
Because you, and I mean specifically you, the press, specifically you, the press corps, because you cheer against Trump so hard. It's like in your DNA and in your blood to cheer against Trump because you want him not to be successful so bad. You have to cheer against the efficacy of these strikes. You have to hope maybe they weren't effective. Maybe the way the Trump administration has represented them isn't true. So let's take half-truths, spun information, leaked information, and then spin it in every way we can to try to cause doubt and manipulate the public mind over whether or not our brave pilots were successful. How many stories have been written about how hard it is to, I don't know, fly a plane for 36 hours? Has MSNBC done that story? Has Fox? Have we done the story how hard that is? Have we done it 2 or 3 times so that American people understand? How about how difficult it is to shoot a drone from an F-15 or 16 or F-22 or F-35? Or what it's like to man a Patriot battery? Or how hard it is to refuel midair, giving the American people an understanding of how complex and sophisticated this mission really was. There are so many aspects of what our brave men and women did that because of the hatred of this press corps are undermined because your people are trying to leak and spin that it wasn't successful. It's irresponsible. And folks in this room are privy to that information because of the proximity here in the Pentagon. It's an important responsibility. And time again, classified information is leaked or peddled for political purposes to try to make the president look bad. And what's really happening is you're undermining the success of incredible B-2 pilots and incredible F-35 pilots and incredible refuelers and incredible air defenders who accomplished their mission, set back a nuclear program in ways that other presidents would have dreamed. How about we celebrate that? How about we talk about how special America is, that only we have these capabilities?
I see Tommy Murphy in the chat says Trump lost a lot of support from the airstrikes. Tommy Murphy, I don't know who the fuck you're watching, but you're watching a bunch of retarded people because Trump's approval numbers are higher than they've ever been, and his support is higher than it's ever been. So I guess go back to watching Candace Owens, but in the real world, Donald Trump has more support than he's ever had right now, unless you're watching Candace Owens.
I think it's too much to ask, unfortunately, for the fake news. So we're used to that. But we also have an opportunity to stand at the podium and read the truth of what's really happening. And the reality is, you want to call it destroyed, you want to call it defeated, you want to call it obliterated, choose your word. This was an historically successful attack, and we should celebrate it as Americans. And it gives us a chance to have peace, chance to have a deal, and an opportunity to prevent a nuclear Iran, which is something President Trump talked about for 20 years.
So again, Hegseth completely on point, and he is showing that not only was he the was he a good pick for the Secretary of Defense, he was the perfect pick. And here, now he used to work for Fox News. Here he calls out Fox News directly.
Highly enriched uranium. Do you have certainty that all the highly enriched uranium was inside the Fordo Mountain, or some of it, because there were satellite photos that showed more than a dozen trucks there 2 days in advance? Are you certain none of that highly enriched uranium was moved?
Of course, we're watching every single aspect. But Jennifer, you've been about the worst. The one who
look at the look on her face. He's like, you've been about the worst. And she went full Karen mode on him as soon as he said that. Whoa, boy, the Karen, it was like, I need to speak to the manager.
Jennifer, you've been about the worst. The one who misrepresents the most intentionally what the president says. I'm familiar.
About the ventilation shafts on Saturday night. And in fact, I was the first to describe the B-2 bombers, the refueling, the entire mission with great accuracy. So I take issue with that.
I appreciate you acknowledging that this was the first the most successful mission based on operational security that this department has done since you've been here. And I appreciate that. So we're looking at all aspects of intelligence and making sure we have a sense of what was where.
So she did the meme. So there's the meme right there. And she was very offended. She was very much looking to speak to the manager in that moment. And it was absolutely fantastic. So Hegseth taking absolutely no prisoners. He does not care. He's not playing your games. And, that's the attitude of the Trump administration right now. This is the attitude era. The attitude era is here, ladies and gentlemen. And let's see, let me make sure. So, all right. So, yeah, apparently Trump is going to be participating in the One Big Beautiful event today. So I'm keeping an eye on that. Snooty Mims for 10 over on Rumble says, Jeremy, you always stick to your guns. You're the truth. Anyone looking for a great gaming PC, check out Meta PC. Hail the 199. A promo code 199. That's right. Thank you, Snooty Mims. I appreciate it, brother. Let's see. Bender Events Network says Trump said the Carlton Football Club, I didn't know what the fuck they were doing on the front bar this weekend, and it was funny. It's the greatest meme ever. It's the greatest meme ever. Everybody's been using the don't know what the fuck they're doing. Dead and Dug Up says CNN hates America. Yes, they do. Warbrewer says Cobra Cast is the best show on YouTube or anywhere else. I appreciate that. It's more than likely not true, but as long as one person thinks it, then I will take it. Thank you, Warbrewer. John Gets Gaming says Bush occupies the country for 20 years, and when WMDs are reported, Trump lets Israel clear the way, take the attacks, and sends one problem-solving strike. Yep. And of course, the narrative surrounding all of that in advance was kind of crazy. I mean, listen, I had my concerns. I had my doubts. I shared those doubts, and there's nothing wrong with sharing doubts, but some of the nonsense surrounding that entire operation, it was just laughable. And the people that, wanted to make that their entire personality suddenly don't want to talk about it anymore. Guys, can we just move on? I know I said Trump was George W. Bush. I know I said that he, is controlled by Israel. I know I predicted we were going to have World War III, and now none of them want to talk about it now. None of them want to talk about it. They suddenly just want to move on. Can we just move on, guys? But Trump changed the game, as is in this video right here with Charlie Kirk and Megyn Kelly as they discuss it, man. Like, this was a game-changing moment for Trump.
Exchange was giving them divorced parent vibes. Listening to Trump, and you call him dad. You're not the only one. The NATO Secretary General called him dad too in this exchange that just came out. Here it is, SOT 23.
They've had a big fight, like two kids in a schoolyard. You know, they fight like hell. You can't stop them. Let them fight for about 2-3 minutes. Then it's easier to stop them.
And then daddy has to sometimes do strong language.
You have to use strong language. Every once in a while you have to use.
This is so funny, dude. The fact that he's sitting there calling Trump, like, and then daddy has to walk, like, what are we doing? Trump has literally changed the entire landscape of politics, of culture, of everything. This type of stuff would have never been said before. And now here we are where it's just normal part of the conversation. It's fantastic. I love it so much.
There's a certain word.
Daddy has to use the strong language.
And I was joking around. I said, so imagine being at NATO, right? These are all just like bureaucratic, technical, very European educated professors. You know the type, right? They're very like focused. They're very German in the way they present themselves, very orderly and organized. They overanalyze everything. So they're preparing for Trump's arrival at NATO. And they see Donald Trump on no sleep go to the sticks, dropping the F-bomb. I'm mad at Israel. I'm mad at Iran. And I'm coming to NATO. And these NATO guys are probably like, oh, my goodness, what are we supposed to do with this? Just give him whatever he wants. I mean, this guy is on one. Because, look, we hold all the cards.
Charlie, you can kind of see them coming along, though. Can't you? Can see the second piece of that, which is like, I'm kind of into it. Wait, I'm starting to feel a little inspired. You know what? He might be onto something.
Yes. Well, and that's the thing is that over time, you know, Trump really kind of wins you over, right? Because the world's a dangerous place. And, you know, Trump has a very, you know, he has a rhetorical genius to him. Not everyone quite understands it. But deep down, Europe is like, wow, you know, we're being invaded by Mohammedism. We're being, you know, Putin is invading Ukraine. We have the Chinese threat. Maybe this guy that talks but also delivers a big game, he's the best hope for the West. And I totally agree with you. You can start to see that in 2017, 2018, when Trump went to NATO, there was scorn and there was like, oh, who is this guy?
Yes.
And how do we get rid of him? Mm-hmm. How do we cleanse ourselves of this filth? Now it's kind of like an admission. It's like, this guy's in charge. The Western world acknowledges that America holds the cards. And we want to be successful. We want victory. And again, for President Trump, just the reconfiguration of the attitude of NATO has been one of the most striking things to see of Donald Trump's entire career.
He truly is winning. He has a winning mindset. He has a success mindset.
And of course, you get questions like this that President Trump had to face, which again, it's so good.
Deborah Hayes from Sky News. Hello. The language that you have used when talking to Donald Trump has been notable because of its flattery. Today, you called him daddy. You sent a text message to him that was gushing with praise. Is this the way that you feel you have to act when doing business with the US president, through flattery and praise? Isn't it a bit demeaning, and doesn't it make you look weak?
No, I don't think so. I think it's a bit of a question of taste, but I think he's a good friend. And when he is doing stuff which is forcing us to, for example, when it comes to making more investments, would you ever think that this would be the result of this summit if he would not have been elected president? Do you really think that 7 or 8 countries who said, somewhere in the 2030s we might meet the 2%, we've now all decided in the last 4 or 5 months to get to 2%? So doesn't he deserve some praise? And when it comes to Iran, the fact that he took this decisive action, very targeted, to make sure that Iran would not be able to get its hands on a nuclear capability, I think he deserves all the praise.
And then we got these clips right here of when Trump was asked about it, and you saw Marco Rubio couldn't hold it in. Watch this.
Mark Rutte, the NATO chief, who is your friend, he called you daddy earlier. Do you regard your NATO allies as kind of children?
No, he likes me. I think he likes me. If he doesn't, I'll let you know. I'll come back and I'll hit him hard, okay? No? He did it very affectionate. Daddy, you're my daddy.
What are we doing? This is amazing. Is this a better angle of it right here? Let's see if this is a better angle.
Mark Rutte, the NATO chief, who is your friend, he called you daddy earlier. Do you regard your NATO allies as kind of children?
No, he likes me. I think he likes me. If he doesn't, I'll let you know. I'll come back and I'll hit him hard, okay? No? He did it very affectionate. Daddy, you're my daddy.
Do you regard your NATO
Oh no.
allies though as kind of like children, and they're obviously listening to you and they're spending more, and you're obviously appreciative of that, but do you hope that actually they're going to be able to defend themselves, defend Europe on their own without
I think they need help a little bit at the beginning, and I think they'll be able to, and I think they're going to remember this day. And this is a big day for NATO. You know, this was a very big day. They took it. One of the gentlemen said, you know what, we've been trying to raise the rate for 30 years, he said, 20 years, from almost the beginning. And he's been there for a long time. He said, until you came along, it never happened.
It's been a hell of a week for President Trump. Let's go back to this because they were talking about this whole situation.
Said he has an abundance mindset. And
strike the reconfiguration of the attitude of NATO has been one of the most striking things to see of Donald Trump's entire career.
He truly is winning. He has a winning mindset. He has a success mindset. He has an abundance mindset. And that can be very intoxicating. You know, if you spend enough time around it, you start to see possibilities that you didn't see before. And it's funny to watch it happen even with these NATO guys who, like you point out, loathed him very, very recently. Here's Trump. He's speaking now and said the following on Iran. As you know, we carried out a massive precision strike. Very, very successful. It was called obliteration, which is funny. That's how it was called that by him. No other military on earth could have done it. Now we've paved the way for this historic ceasefire agreement. It's the 12-day war. We think it's over. I don't think they're going to be going back at each other. I mean, that's what's so extraordinary. What may have happened on Saturday night is the entire Israeli conflict may be over now. The 10-7 response may be over now. They've basically obliterated Hamas. Substantially, if not entirely, obliterated Hamas, and then brought it up to Hamas's sponsor, Iran. And now, if there's a real ceasefire here, that war is over, and all that remains is to get the hostages back and figure out, just the small matter of figuring out what's going to happen with Palestine. I mean, there's that. Yeah, but really, President Trump doesn't have to do that.
No. He doesn't have to do that. I would like to see an end to the war. No one likes all this killing in Gaza. And look, I'm pro-Israel. You're pro-Israel. I'm on Team Civilization. But these are people made in the image of God. I don't like to see them, scattered. I mean, we want to try to have wealth and abundance and prosperity. There is a serious problem. A lot of them are incredibly radicalized. And the big tell is no one in the Middle East wants them. Jordan doesn't want them. Egypt doesn't want them. Saudi Arabia doesn't want them. They're kind of a people without a home. And they're an unwanted people, which is really sad because I guarantee you there's like young kids that have done nothing wrong, of course, in that, couple million group people. So they got to figure that out. I have no idea what to do there because the old model of you just have this hot box of terrorism and it bubbles up. It's unsustainable. It's bad. It does not work. So there has to be some sort of brokering there. But that's not President Trump's job, right? He's the president of the United States of America.
At least he said it. It's not his job. I don't give a shit what happens.
What he should do is try to broker a settlement, bring the hostages back, end it, and say, look, you guys got 90 days, try to figure this out, but we're not taking any refugees. We're not doing any of this, we're Islamic importation of it into the West, but we got to figure it out. But most importantly, though, is that President Donald Trump, as you could see, he wants to try to get all the focus on our hemisphere. Hemispheric hegemony is part of his MAGA doctrine. Okay, we'll solve Israel, Iran. We'll solve Israel, Gaza. We'll solve India, Pakistan. We'll solve Russia, Ukraine, and then come back to our hemisphere. That one of the most important foreign policy goals that he has is Panama Canal and Greenland.
Yep.
We joke around about those two. They're incredibly important from a geopolitical standpoint, from rare earth minerals to trade to international waterways. That's far more important, by the way, than what we're seeing, in the Middle East right now for American future.
And I think he probably will put his attention towards that here pretty soon. Once he's got a lot of this stuff behind him, which he almost has, it appears that he's gotten a lot of this Middle East bullshit behind him. Of course, things could pop off again, but it's almost like that ceasefire, them breaking the ceasefire actually was a good thing because it allowed Trump to get in there and show them how pissed off he was, because he was legitimately pissed off. I'm not sure I've seen Trump that mad publicly before. Like, he was pretty pissed off, and rightfully so. And I think that probably turned out to be a good thing overall.
And basically, and by the way,
President Trump did not manufacture this Middle East conflict. Like, this wasn't like he came in and said, let's do something in the Middle East.
It arrived on his doorstep.
This was foisted upon him. This is him handling a crisis that was unforeseen I'm sorry, but like a boss. Go ahead.
No, I completely agree. That's right. He handled it like a boss, and he didn't want it to last long. And that's what I love about it. I mean, on one hand, you have Dick Cheney, who's like, oh, Iraq might have weapons of mass destruction. Give me 500,000 troops, 8 years, and $2 trillion, and I'll find out he doesn't have them.
I'm pretty sure Charlie Kirk is reading the meme right now, because there's a Dick Cheney meme going around about the Iraq war, and it's showing like Cheney and what he had and what he did and accomplished and how long. And then there was the Trump meme. And I'm pretty sure Charlie Kirk is reading the meme right now. Look at him.
I'm sorry, but like a boss. Go ahead.
No, I completely agree. That's right. He handled it like a boss, and he didn't want it to last long. And that's what I love about it. I mean, on one hand, you have Dick Cheney, who's like, oh, Iraq might have weapons of mass destruction. Give me 500,000 troops, 8 years, and $2 trillion, and I'll find out he doesn't have them. Donald Trump says, oh, Iran might want nukes. Give me 12 days, like 30 pilots, and, no troops on the ground. What a contrast, right? And President Donald Trump was able to get done in 12 days what, Dick Cheney and George Bush, it took them 10 years of nation building, and the Iraq war will go down as one of the greatest disasters and mistakes in the history of our country. But also, right up to our own country. Remember, on the first day, President Donald Trump signed a declaration, a proclamation, I should say, that did not get a lot of coverage. He designated the cartels as a foreign terrorist organization. Yep. That means in the eyes of the American government, the cartels are indistinguishable from Hamas and Hezbollah, as it should be. And so President Donald Trump wants to focus on our hemisphere. He wants to have more focus on the cartels and less focus on Iran. So he's trying to get these things done in the first 6 months of his administration so that he can then have all the remaining 3.5 years on our hemisphere.
We are.
So I thought that was a pretty good clip, especially the beginning part of the clip, because Trump has, it feels like he has elevated to an entirely new place right now. With his popularity and everything like that. And it was a risk. It was 100% a risk, but it does feel like he has elevated to a whole different place now. And that is something that, again, I didn't necessarily see it. I had my criticisms of the entire situation with Iran, but now that we're on the other side of it, it clearly looks like it was the correct decision, and he has benefited greatly from it. And now he has more power and more credibility than it feels like he's ever had. And so here we are. Let's see. So Alex of the Mountains, NATO laughed Trump out of the building. Now they are calling him daddy and begging for his help. LFG, hail Snake Pit. Absolutely. Thank you for the 10. Appreciate it. Stormborn says, good to see that Trump can act. Western leaders have been trying to talk the bad guys around for decades. Sometimes a kick in the pants works better. Warbear says, masculine leadership is what's missing except for Trump. John Gets Gaming says Zelensky made sure to wear a suit after that. Yeah, I heard that. Let's see. Whatever your name is, my wonderful, hang on. What? All right, hang on. I think I'll try to read your name. My wonderful Aussie daughter Ava is 18. Dads with daughters know. So blessed and privileged. We'll be ripping it in COD, but cake first. Well, congratulations. Happy birthday. And yes, dads with daughters know. And so are you a fan of Interstellar as well? You must be. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. John Gets Gaming says, Iran trying to gaslight that they won and are getting clowned on by everyone but Hassan orbiters is hilarious. Act like a kid, like Trump said. Well, the thing with Iran is that what I've learned just, by watching this is Iran just puts out propaganda like crazy. And they put out propaganda to their own people because their own people don't have access to any information outside of the bubble that the leadership in Iran puts out there. So Iran puts out these threats, these bold claims, so that the people believe that they are standing against the USA. But the reality of it is it's just posturing and it's bullshit. You know what I mean? So let's see. Interstellar is currently free on YouTube in the US anyway. Really? That's awesome. So for people that haven't seen it, maybe they can check it out. John Gets Gaming says female reporters see two dudes laughing and immediately want to frame it as fake and negative. Nah, bitches. They just enjoyed a conversation. Calm down. I know, right? And there's actually a good meme right here, if I can find it, that was funny. Did I like it? I think I liked it. Let me go through my likes and see. Between bookmarks and likes, I have so much crap that it's hard to filter through all of it. Right here. Yeah, here we go. This is how CNN operates right here. Okay. And this is why no one trusts the mainstream media anymore, but this is 100% how they operate. President Trump makes a birdie putt. CNN, Trump failed to make eagle. That is exactly how CNN operates. By the way, 6'3", 215 pounds, alpha male, physique, ripped and shredded. But this is exactly how they operate right here. Makes a birdie. Trump failed to make an eagle. And then you see the drones out there, the mindless drones that do no research, and they're like, oh, Trump failed to make an eagle. He's terrible. This is it right here. But yeah, Trump is ladies, you're always saying like, oh, Jeremy, you're playing Sydney Sweeney clips. Where's something for the ladies? There you go, ladies. You may not like it, but this is what the peak male physique looks like right here. It doesn't get any better. This is peak male physique right here. Shredded. And I mean, ladies, all right. I know I'm memeing and all that. So, all right, ladies, here. Okay. Ladies, I didn't even get a proper 199 from the ladies. Here you go. Enjoy that one, ladies. Peak male physique. It does not get any better than that. All right. I love how he's like, is everybody having a good time? Oh, it's freaking great, man. Robot Boop says, I just came in to say Jeremy is gay 199. Babo Yogi says, can't catch you live much anymore, Jeremy. The most intelligent, respectable, articulate, and a pretty YouTube weight. Just puked a little. Mod lives matter. Well, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry you got a lot going on, but I appreciate when you have time to be here. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, brother. Okay, so this clip right here got some people mad. Says this Ron Smith, I don't know who this guy is. He goes, hard to believe this is a president. Hard to believe.
And they're not being given credit for it because we have scum that's in this group, and not all of you are. You have some great reporters, but you have scum. CNN is scum. MSDNC is scum. The New York Times is scum. They're bad people. They're sick. And what they've done is they're trying to make this unbelievable victory into something less. Now, even they admit that it was hit very hard, okay? But it wasn't hit hard. It was hit brutally. If you were in the Situation Room with me, with the generals and all of the people that did such a good job, and then they get demeaned by these idiots at CNN who can't get ratings, the place is dying, nobody wants to even waste their time going on their shows. So they form with the New York Times, who's dying also. Without Trump, you wouldn't have a New York Times. And then just this was an unbelievable.
So good. So good. And so for somebody to be butthurt over this, again, imagine taking up for the mainstream media. Imagine siding with the mainstream media. Absolutely pathetic. But this is these clowns. But hey, we did get this one right here, ladies and gentlemen.
You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. You understand that? You understand that? They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. You understand that? You understand that? They violated it, but Israel violated it too. Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs like I've never seen before. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when they say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. It's the biggest load that we've seen. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. You understand that? You understand that? They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. You understand that? You understand that? So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because the one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, it didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You understand that? Raise your voice! You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. You understand that? You understand that? They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. You understand that? You understand that?
Honestly, like, I saw people upset about the Epstein part. I was like, that shit's funny. That shit's funny. Like, it's a meme. It's a meme. I had no problem. Like, I was just like, why did you put it in there? But at the same time, like, it was funny. Who cares, right? So, because he's dancing. Hang on. It's Trump dancing.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. You understand?
Oh, man. I love it. I love it. Memes run the internet. That's how it goes right there. Memes run the internet, and that's all that matters. Let's see. Dude, the world's highest IQ record holder. I talked about him last week because he had followed me on Twitter, and he has been pissing people off. He has been pissing people off, and he just pissed people off again because he just posted this: homosexuality is a sin. No apology, no compromise. The Bible is clear. Signed, highest IQ record holder. Dude, the freaking comments are gonna be amazing on this one. Oh yeah, you should like go through his timeline. Like, just go through his timeline. Like, he just keeps posting stuff. Why am I officially recognized as the world's highest IQ 276 record holder? Here is the facts. Let's see. He's been posting stuff about Trump. My entire faith stands on this absolute truth. The Bible is the perfect word of God. Therefore, it is 100% truth, zero error. Highest IQ record holder. The Bible is the answer to every problem you have. Really, he's upsetting people, and I love it. Because it's like, how are you going to argue with the highest? Like, are you going to say he's low IQ? You going to say he's stupid now? Huh? You going to say this guy's stupid? Oh, yeah, Trump supporters are low IQ. Huh, kind of destroys the narrative there, doesn't it? I love how he signs off his highest record, like, I'm the highest IQ record holder. What can you say to me? You can't say anything. This all started with me because I quote tweeted this right here. So I quote tweeted him right here because he says, as the world's highest IQ record holder, I recognize that Donald Trump is the only president chosen by God in American history. And I quote tweeted, I said, I guess this hurts the Trump supporters or low IQ narrative. There goes that one right there. Oh, Trump supporters are just low IQ. So yeah, this guy's, he's really upsetting all of the people you would want to be upset. So Christian Rocker says, you see CM Punk push away a kid in Saudi for a pick. I did see that. I did. CM Punk's a bitch, or Phil Brooks is a bitch. Now, again, you know, like, so there's a lot to that. Like, CM Punk is a hypocritical bitch because, you know, years ago he was bitching about not going and taking blood money from Saudi Arabia, and now he's showing up in Saudi Arabia. Phil Brooks is a terrible, terrible person. He just is. Okay, so we have to talk about what's going on in New York. Pretty interesting what's going on in New York right now. And it kind of just shows you like a lot of people's focus and where their attention goes. So basically, it looks like the next mayor of New York will be this guy right here. And you see where he says it right here. Together, we can tax the rich, heal the sick, house the poor, defund the police, and build a socialist New York. Now, there are rumors that Trump might back Eric Adams. There's rumors out there that Trump may put his support behind Eric Adams because Trump has commented on this socialist Muslim that has defeated Cuomo in the primaries. And pretty rough stuff. Now, here's one of the reasons why people are gravitating to this guy. And there's an interesting discussion to be had here because on one hand, you know, I think a lot of people are tired of the NPC Israel response to everything by our politicians that are clearly bought and controlled. On the other hand, just because a guy agrees with you with Israel doesn't mean he's worth voting for. But this is one of the clips right here that has gotten a lot of people excited about this guy.
The first foreign visit by a mayor of New York is always considered significant. Where would you go first? Left to right, Ms. Adams.
First visit, I would visit the Holy Land.
Mr. Cuomo.
Given the hostility and the anti-Semitism that has been shown in New York, I would go to Israel.
Mr. Tilson, where would you go?
Yeah, I'd make my 4th trip to Israel, followed by my 5th trip to Ukraine, 2 of our greatest allies fighting on the front line.
Dude, these politicians are so freaking pathetic. Like, these are pathetic answers from pathetic people. Everybody's listening to this and you're just going, oh my God, what are we doing? Then you get to Zohan. I don't know what his name is, but I'm going to call him Zohan.
Of the global war on terror.
Mr. Mamdani.
I would stay in New York City. My plans are to address New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs and focus on that.
Mr. Mamdani, can I just...
Now, this right here, people are going crazy now. This guy also said that if Netflix Yahoo showed up in New York City, he would arrest him. That's what Zohan said.
Just jump in. Would you visit Israel as mayor?
I will be doing, as the mayor, I'll be standing up for Jewish New Yorkers, and I'll be meeting them wherever they are across the 5 boroughs, whether that's in their synagogues and temples or at their homes or at the subway platform, because ultimately we need to focus on delivering on their concerns.
And just yes or no, do you believe in a Jewish state of Israel?
I believe Israel has the right to exist.
Not
as a Jewish state?
Notice.
As a state with equal rights.
He won't,
Okay.
he
Not
won't
as a
say it
Jewish
has
state.
a right to exist as a Jewish state.
The fact that they were so offended by, again, this one answer in isolation is a perfect answer. It's a perfect answer. They're looking for him to say the NPC answer of, I would visit the Holy Land of Israel. And he's like, I will just stay in New York where I'm elected, which is a perfect answer. Absolutely perfect answer. And the fact that they're getting triggered over it, but it doesn't take away from all of the other shit that this guy is about. No, it's not. How is it not a perfect answer? Why the fuck am I electing an American mayor to go visit a foreign country? Why the fuck is the proper answer once you're elected in the United States to go to a foreign country? It's an absolutely perfect answer. In isolation. No American politician's first answer should be, I'm going to travel to Israel after I'm elected to America. Fuck that. I didn't elect you for Israel. I elected you for America.
His answer was no, he won't visit Israel.
I said that.
That's what he was trying to say.
No. Unlike you, I answer questions very directly.
My goal would be to take my first trip to Israel. My wife's life work in this area means a lot to our family.
Now, again, you can like that answer all you want, but it doesn't change the fact that Zohan here wants to defund the police. He's all about feminism. He's all about identity politics. He's a Muslim. He hates white people. He hates Christianity. This is all him using this answer. And all the people that are anti-Israel are going to jump on it because anti-Israel people see absolutely nothing but, oh my gosh, this guy said something that I agree with, something that Candace Owens told me that I should like, and they will forget everything else. They will forget everything else because he said, ooh, Israel not great. And they like, oh, I love this guy. He's going against Israel. Yeah, he's also going against America. He's also going against Christianity. He's also going against guns. He's also going against the police. This guy is a psychopath, a left-wing. He's worse than a left-wing nut job. This guy is absolutely like, he's the definition of radical. So don't get caught up on one clever answer that is meant to make you forget all the other stuff that he's actually about. But this is New York. Now, I have something that, I've been hearing a ton of reports, in terms of like the reaction to this and if he's elected and all of this. And, a lot of real estate agents in New York are saying that, New Yorkers are calling them up and saying, I'm ready to move to Florida. Let me tell you right now, New York people, if you're looking to move to Florida, Florida's a terrible place. You would never want to move to Florida. Florida is horrible. I live in Florida, and I can tell you it's the worst place in America. No way you need to come to Florida. There's nothing but like horrible people here, horrible things. You want to stay as far away from Florida, New Yorkers, as possible. Might I recommend Canada? Might I recommend Los Angeles? Those are wonderful places with wonderful people, no crime, nothing. But Florida, no. Oh, you don't want to come anywhere near Florida. Florida's terrible. You got there's an alligator beating down my door right now. There's a gator beating down my door. I might get eaten alive during this stream. They're everywhere. It's crazy. You don't want anything. You want nothing to do with Florida. Trust me. It's a terrible, 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 terrible place with nothing to do. Terrible weather, no scenery. All the women are ugly. It's terrible. Stay away. Stay far, far away from Florida. Thank you so much for your consideration. And I'm just here to help. I'm here to help. But yeah, we don't need you. You don't need to be in Florida. We don't need anybody else down here that's gonna, risk your life or anything like that. So what is this? What is this? Department of Homeland Security just deported an Egyptian man who kicked a detention dog named Freddie. The man was mad that Freddie caught him smuggling undeclared goods from Egypt, and he was arrested on Tuesday. He should be banned from ever returning to the USA. He kicked a dog. Deport him forever. Arrest him. Throw away the key. Get him gone. Just send him to New York. Get him out. Get him out. Did I say detention? I meant detection. Sorry. I'm retarded. But I was a little fired up over that. Speaking of that, this could kind of segue us into this next topic, because this is going to be something that I wanted to make a video on Geeks and Gamers, but I'm just going to talk about it here. Speaking of dogs, we got a new clip from James Gunn's Superman, or Superman's James Gunn. It's a 37-second clip, and I hate everything about this clip. I hate everything about it. Okay? This is horrible. I've been looking forward to this movie. I've been hoping for the best. And I saw this clip, and this is an emotionally broken and weak Superman. This, like, people are trying to defend this, saying that, well, it's because there's a dog involved, Jeremy. How would you act? No, no, no. No, no, no. Just watch the cringe here. This is so bad. I hate this.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be...
Lex, I tried to stop him.
It's fine, Heather. Superman, we finally meet. Would you like a coffee?
Where's the dog?
Dog?
The dog, loser! You took the dog!
That's right, you get all of this.
Where's the dog?
I have no clue what you're talking about.
What are we doing? We've got a chick filming for Instagram or TikTok. We've got Superman being emotionally broken. It's completely out of character for him to act like this. Lex has zero interest. Lex is acting like he's Superman in this moment. Where's the trigger? You wouldn't give it to an ordinary citizen. Give it. Rah, 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 rah.
He's just a dog. I don't know what dog you're talking about. Ugly dog, okay? What did you say? Oh, yeah, that's going to be...
The more I see from this movie, the less that I have hopes for it. And this might be the worst clip that I've seen to date for this. You've got this chick filming, making it 100% a 2025 time frame, which is always a horrible, horrible idea when you have iconic superheroes or iconic characters. It's like in The Last Jedi when Luke did the dust off his shoulder bullshit. And you're like, what are we doing, man? What are we doing? This is terrible. I hate this.
I have no clue.
So I just wanted to show this really quick because I saw this clip and I was going to make a video for Geeks and Gamers. I've decided I'd just talk about it here during this live feed. But ultimately, I have lost almost all hope for this movie. and I was looking forward to it. I was hoping it was going to be good. I've liked most of James Gunn's stuff, even though I don't like James Gunn as a person. But this clip in particular is horrifically bad. And I saw people in the comment section, which was funny. So I responded down here. And I was like, the entire scene is fucking terrible. I saw some people responding to me, and they were accusing me of being a Snyder fan. And I was like, this is where we are now. Accusing me of being a Snyder fan, and that's why I'm criticizing this clip. Okay, clearly you've not done any research whatsoever, because I despise the Snyder movies with all my heart. And in fact, I think this will end up being better than the Snyder garbage, as bad as this looks. But yeah, accusing me of being a Snyder fan was peak hilarity, to say the least. But anyway, James Gunn's Superman, or Superman's James Gunn, set to release in a couple of weeks, I believe. I'll be watching it, and I'll give you my thoughts on it. But that's that clip did nothing. I won't say it did nothing for me. It did a lot. It gave me such negative vibes for this movie that I have almost lost all hope. And at once upon a time, I had high hopes for this movie. So there you go. Zinni Biscuits is a little behind. If we get Vance Hegseth 2028, you will believe that 32As can giggle. Let's see. The SBZ says, Jeremy, you should follow Young Hoon Kim example and start putting signed world's most super chatted political channel in every tweet. I can't do that. Because it's not it only happens occasionally. I wish I could claim it every day, but it only happens occasionally. 8 o'clock for 20 says, as a Beagle owner, life sentence, no chance parole. I agree completely. Let's see. John Gets Gaming says, but Jeremy, what if hot-based women want to move? Well, Florida has, well, I don't want to say that Florida has a lot of hot chicks, because then the weirdo New Yorkers will want to move down here, but we can make some exceptions, but not many. Warbreer says the sun is setting on the west, sold out by traders. I do want to talk about, I want to show this clip from so this was a wild clip from the Joe Rogan show. A wild clip. So as you know, Joe Rogan previously was a Bernie bro. Joe Rogan was a Bernie bro. He loved Bernie Sanders. He got caught up in the feel the burn movement and all that bullshit. And obviously Rogan's moved away from that a lot. This particular clip is one of the saddest clips you'll see, because Joe Rogan is not even trying to own Bernie Sanders in this clip. He's not. Bernie Sanders is owning Bernie Sanders, and Joe Rogan is calmly asking, like, well, but that's not true. It's so bad. So let's watch this.
And I got to say, I mean, one of the things, and there's a lot of arguments about Trump, that worries me very, very much is this movement toward authoritarianism and going after media, suing media, taking away the authority that Congress has.
When you say suing media, are you talking about the CBS lawsuit?
Among other things.
Right, but don't you think there's a real issue with what they did?
No.
You don't think that there's a real issue in editing conversations to give someone an answer that's different than what they really answered?
Joe, I've been on 8 zillion shows, right? In my life.
Okay.
Now, should I sue you if you ask me some stupid question that I don't like, right?
That's not what is happening, Bernie, and you're too dumb to realize it because you have peak TDS. That is not what's happening at all. This is not about opinions, about not liking something. This is being deceptive on purpose in order to fool the American people. The proof is in the pudding. We've seen it. We've seen the ABC. Is it ABC? Is that the one, or was it CBS? The ABC news clip where they just manipulated her answers. ABC News Kamala. I think it was ABC. Or was it CBS? Which one was it? Was CBS? Okay. I can't keep up with what ABC was. Stephanopoulos, right? Is that what it was? And Trump sued him as well. Yeah. Okay. So here it is right here. This is it right here.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
We're not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
That is insane. That is absolutely insane. And the fact that Bernie Sanders is trying to justify that is fucking crazy.
Or that you do something. Do I have a right? Should I sue you?
Yeah, but that's not what he's getting.
Well, he has sued.
For.
He has sued ABC.
Mm-hmm.
He has sued.
And why did he sue ABC? Does anybody remember? And I'm have to try to remember this off the top of my head. So George Stephanopoulos, or Slopadopoulos, as Trump calls him, I believe that Slopadopoulos made a claim that Trump was found guilty of graping E. Jean Carroll. Is that what it was? Yeah. And he was not found guilty. He was found guilty like of a civil or something like that. But like Slopadopoulos said, like he was found guilty. Yeah. And so you can't say that.
Meta?
Liable. That's what it was. He was liable
Register
in a civil court.
Because
liable.
of a poll that
not
came
guilty.
out during the campaign that he didn't like. All right. He is suing CBS for this Kamala Harris interview. So do I think how many, I cannot tell you the number of stories done about me that were not good stories.
Right.
That were dishonest stories.
Dishonesty or not good stories is different from clear and obvious slander in order to manipulate the American public from voting for him. It's also different than editing an answer to make Kamala Harris look far more educated than she is. Yes, election interference.
That's what a free press is about. You don't like it, you got to live with it. All right? You do something, I'm not going to sue you, Joe.
Right, but it's not that simple, right? Like, let's not talk about Trump, but let's talk about another candidate. Let's just imagine there's someone on the right and someone on the left, and there's a concerted effort to promote this person that's on the right. And so the polls are rigged, or these are funded polls that make it look like this person on the right is winning by a substantial margin. And what this does is decreases the motivation that people have to come out and vote against them.
That's happening.
So it's fake.
By the way, that happens right now.
It is happening right now. And I think, is that part of what he's suing them about?
No, it doesn't. Look.
But isn't that what he's suing them about?
Well, he's suing ABC for one thing.
But with the Des Moines Register about the poll.
Yeah, I know the pollster there.
Was the poll incorrect?
Yeah.
Yeah, the poll was wrong. So what?
Right.
Guess what?
But what did they know?
It wasn't just wrong. It was fucking outrageously ridiculous. And it was trying to motivate people to go, well, if he's losing by that much, there's really no point to even go.
Oh, it was incorrect when they published it.
No, they published what they thought was an accurate poll. But that pollster, by the way, what's the name? Okay, Seltzer polls.
I should just state for the record, I don't know this lawsuit, but
what it was about.
But I am aware that in talking to people that understand polls, that some of these are politically.
All right, but the answer is yes and no. There are polls right now doing exactly what you say.
Right.
I could doctor a poll. I could talk to more conservative, more progressive people, get the results that I kind of want, right?
And they do it to motivate people or demotivate people to vote, and it's effective.
It has an impact. All right. On the other hand, this particular pollster, it's the Des Moines Register, not a huge newspaper. I bumped into them because when you're running Democratic primaries, Iowa is a big deal. They are a very, very respected pollster. Okay. They don't doctor polls. So they made a mistake on a poll. It turns out they had.
Thanks, Bernie. I didn't realize that you had all the answers. So thank you for letting us know that, Bernie. They just don't. They don't. Bernie Sanders knows.
Trump doing worse than he ended up doing. Guess what? Posters, honest posters, make mistakes too.
But what is the basis of his lawsuit? Like, what is he saying in
I
the
think
lawsuit?
he is saying that gave energy to his opponents and that it was. He's
like
saying,
we talked about.
like you talked about, but I don't believe that's the case. There are honest pollsters who make mistakes.
But what about the other the other lawsuit with the conversation that they had with Kamala Harris, where they edited the answers that she had to make it look more precise?
60 Minutes, they were suing 60 Minutes.
Yes.
Is, to my mind, historically, they've been around for a very long time. They're not infallible, but I think you look at most objective people will say 60 Minutes has a sterling reputation for investigative
Nobody
journalism.
says that But that's not investigative journalism if you change someone's answers. If you ask her a question and she comes with a rambling answer that doesn't make sense, and you edit that out and insert another answer to a different question that seems more cogent.
All right, Joe, you're walking down. You're walking down a dangerous path. Suing media has the impact of intimidating media. All right, if somebody sues you, all right, let me finish. All right,
okay.
Somebody sues you. Why not you? You could be sued tomorrow, right? Because you are doing this. You're too sympathetic to this.
Right.
And Joe, you did that. And they have a big law firm behind you. You're going to have to spend zillions of dollars defending yourself. You know what? Next time you do an interview, you say, maybe I'm not going to go in that area. Right.
No, I am so happy that this happened because this is going to show because Joe Rogan has the biggest podcast in the world. And this just shows you what Bernie Sanders is all about and what TDS is all about. It gives you some insight into how deranged and how mindless they are. It is absolutely unbelievable.
No, but it's not that. It's editing things to make deceptive editing.
Joe,
so in deceptive editing,
I don't know
give people a different perception of who this candidate is than reality.
Right, but you got to explain.
But that's not objective journalism.
I know, but
that's campaigning for that person.
Right, but
would you agree with that?
I don't have those details. I don't know that I agree with your analysis of it. I don't know enough.
I think that's universally accepted that that's what they did.
And you got to tell me why he is suing ABC. Why he's suing Meta.
Let's just talk about the 60 Minutes
one
first.
No, but it's not just
we could go to ABC, but I'm not aware of that one either.
Well, George Stephanopoulos said something that he didn't like.
No,
but
it's not.
What did Stephanopoulos say?
I can't remember. It was I honestly don't remember.
Yeah, you can't
I think
say it.
What he was saying was factually incorrect about the results of one of Trump's trials.
All right. Guess what? If I were to sue everybody who said things that were factually incorrect about me, I'd be suing people zillions of times. But Joe, what you're saying is, look, does media get it wrong sometimes? Absolutely.
Bernie Sanders is clueless. And this clip is another example of why the Democrats continue to lose because they are out of their minds. They are lost in their Trump derangement syndrome, and they cannot recover. It's over. It's completely over. We're going to have to leave it right there because President Trump is about to go live. So we're going to go to this right here and hear from President Trump.
Versus rising to 117, exactly 117% if the Trump tax cuts are.
So this is the one big, beautiful event. President Trump is set to speak. So yeah, Bernie is one of, if not the biggest hypocrites in all of politics right now. Bernie is horrible. He is the worst. And again, I'm glad that he goes on Joe Rogan and exposes himself for the hypocrite that he is. So I mean that dude is lost. Let's see where we're at. Matt Frog says, on the bright side, if New York City turns into Gotham, we might get Batman. Era James, It says the Quran instructs to kill non-believers. I had a friend that said to me, if there was a war, he would have to kill me. Was serious his mistake. Jeez. Lady Erin D says, Zohan is a former actor whose mom directed a movie for Disney. He's a typical leftist theater kid. Jay covered it on Welcome to Rebellion today. Yeah, I saw a bunch of, like, he had like a rap song and all that too. I'm going to call him Zohan. Zohan's what we're going with. I like that. Keenan says, ever see the movie Dangerous Lives of Altar Boys with Emil Hirsch? I think so. I like Emil Hirsch as an actor. I can't remember off the top of my head, though. It's been that's an older movie, I think. Super Sentai guy says, $10 says Lex Luthor is going to be gay in this. Mad Frog says, channeling Christian Bale talking to the light guy. Imperial Fist Stand says, people who like this honestly tell me what is good about this clip. Emotional Superman and then bad comedy looks awful. That clip was bad. Very bad. Orange Ugandan says, reminder, Zack Snyder has no affiliation with Geeks and Gamers. Mad Frog says, why do all these mistakes go in one direction? Lying Dog Face Pony Soldier with the membership. Thank you. John Gets Gaming says, anyone with a broadcast license is held to a higher standard of coverage. They enjoy privileges and get exposure like debate hosting as benefit. Correct. Jeff says, Rogan was once the biggest Sanders supporter. It is amazing how much the left has fallen apart, that they lost the world's largest podcast. True. Mr. E409 says, who had Bernie Sanders getting exposed by Bernie Sanders on their bingo card? Adrian says, roll the clip of Bernie saying communist bread lines are a good thing. Also, hail the chat and the 199. So we're currently waiting for President Trump to speak at the One Big Beautiful event. Let's see here. Let me see if there's anything going on at the moment right now. I saw that Marco Rubio is there. Pete Hegseth is there. Of course, Tree Bear is way too quick on these memes. Tree Bear. Holy crap, that is horrendous. Tree Bear. Whew. That is rough. That is rough. You got 1 day left before the Uncle IDOT shirt is gone. So if you have not, go over to Teespring. It's in the pinned comment in the chat. Uncle IDOT shirt, 1 more day, and it will be gone. So if you have not gotten your Uncle IDOT shirt, make sure you go over to Teespring and check that out. Love that design. It's going to be awesome. So I hope you guys have had a chance to go over there and check that out. All right, let's see here.
Were surgical, they were precise with B-2 bombers and with the Tomahawks. In fact,
all right, not yet. Nothing yet with Trump. John Gets Gaming says, has he graduated to Big Marco? He's great lately. He absolutely is. He is crushing it. He's doing a great job. By the way, this is Zohan, by the way. This is Zohan. There you go. That's the guy. I mean, but hey, he had the right answer on Israel, so we got to vote for him, right? Yeah, no. There's Prez.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's a good-looking group behind me. This group isn't too bad either. Very nice. Nice to be with you. Beautiful, right? Beautiful. Thank you very much. And thank you all for being here to support one of the most important pieces of legislation in the history of our country. And that's everybody saying that, virtually everybody. The One big, beautiful bill to secure our borders, turbocharge our economy, and bring back the American dream. That's what's happening too. It's met with tremendous approval and reception. And when we were thinking about doing it, we were going to break it down into 3, 4, 5, 6, or even 7 bills. And I said, let's make it one big, beautiful bill, Mike, right? They actually said it would be very much harder to get this way, but it would be better. And the truth is, I think it worked out well because there's something for everybody. And I think in many ways, much better. We're delighted to be joined by Secretaries Marco Rubio, Scott Bessent, Pete Hegseth, Doug Burgum, Doug Collins, Sean Duffy, Howard Lutnick, Linda McMahon, Brooke Rollins, Scott Turner, Chris Wright. Wow, that's a hell of a group. I think that's the biggest group of cabinet members. That's the biggest group of cabinet, and we're not finished yet because we have our great Attorney General Pam Bondi here, U.S. Trade Representative, and he's working around 24 hours. We have them one after another. Countries come. Everybody wants to be with us because we have the hottest country in the world. A year ago, we had a disaster on our hand. We had the coldest country, I think, by far. And now we have the hottest, the King of Saudi Arabia. When I was there, we brought back 5.1 trillion between Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and UAE. And all three said, great leaders, they all said to me the same thing. You know, it's amazing. In 4 months at that time, now it's getting to be close to 6. But in 4 months, they said, you have the hottest country anywhere in the world. It's not even close. And they thought we were dead a year before that. They said, I thought you were dead. The country was dead. And it was pretty close to it. But we have the hottest country in the world, so it's great. And Trade Representative Jamieson Greer is very busy because, where are you, Jamieson? Everybody wants to make a deal and have a part of it, right? I know you and Howard and Scott are working overtime, making deals with other countries. Remember a few months ago, the press was saying, do you really have anybody of any interest? Well, we just signed with China yesterday, right? Just signed with China. We have everybody. We're not going to make deals with everybody. Some we're just going to send them a letter, say, thank you very much. You're going to pay 25, 35, 45%. That's the easy way to do it. And my people don't want to do it that way. They want to do some of it, but they want to make more deals than I would do. But we're having some great deals. We have one coming up, maybe with India, very big one, where we're going to open up India. In the China deal, we're starting to open up China, things that never really could have happened. And the relationship with every country has been very good. And we also have OMB Director, who's very busy also, Russ Vogt. Thank you. Thank you, Russ. And also, I want to give a very special thank you. This is a hell of a group we have here. This is amazing, the quality of people. But actually, I like these people and most of those people much better than the people I just named, okay? But a very special thanks as well to Speaker Mike Johnson, who's a great, legendary guy. He's going to go down as a legend. A great friend of mine, a fantastic Senator Roger Marshall, wherever you may be. Roger, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bernie Moreno, great win Bernie had in Ohio. Bernie, great win. That was a tough race. They said that was not winnable, and he won by about 5 points, so that was pretty good. So much for not winnable. Mike Lee is here. Mike, hi, Mike. Thank you, Mike. Tim Sheehy, another tremendous win. Way to go, Tim. Young, handsome. That was another race that wasn't supposed to be able to be won. They said, well, we have a very young, handsome guy. I said, does that matter? Looks don't matter, do they, Mike? Looks. Anyway, great. Great job. You can't help it. You can't help it. Great. That was a great race, along with Representatives Paul Gosar, Greg Murphy.
Made it sound like he was saying, Mike, you don't have good looks. It doesn't matter.
Who's that? Where is Rob? Stand up, Rob. Let me see you. Good. He's done a fantastic job. And Ryan McKenzie. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you all. That's great. It's a big group of people. We're here this afternoon to share the stories of an incredible group of patriots from across the nation whose future we are defending with the one big, beautiful bill. This is the ultimate codification of our agenda to, very simply, a phrase that's been used pretty well by me over the last 10 years, but maybe even before that, make America great again. Very simple, make America great again. When Joe Biden used to get up and say, we will stop this horrible MAGA. We're going to stop MAGA. We're going to fight it. We're going to, I said, Joe, loosen up. It's called Make America Great Again. It's okay. Remember, they got up so angry. He was so angry. I said, make America great again. But we'll deliver a record tax cut, a record spending cut, a record investment in border security. We've done so well on the border. You know, last month, we had 0 people that crossed the border. 0. So Christie and Tom Homan and some of the people, what a job you've done. But, you know, people forget about that. They don't care. The border's been fixed. I wanted to talk about the border 2 days ago at a big group. Sir, they don't want to hear about the border. Why? It's fixed. You know, it's the second time it happened to me. In 2016, I won on the border. I fixed it in about 3 months. It was beautiful. And they wouldn't let me talk about the border. Sir, nobody wants to hear about the border. But we're going to talk about it anyway. Right, Tom Homan? We're talking about it anyway. So we have a big number of dollars that's coming here because we want to keep it that way, and we want to keep it fixed, and a record number of deportations. We're bringing criminals out by the thousands. Nobody can even imagine. They let people in that were murderers, 11,888 murderers, gang members, people from mental institutions and insane asylum. You know what that is? That's insane asylum. That's a mental institution on steroids. During the campaign, I talk about the late, great Hannibal Lecter. Do you know who that is, Hannibal Lecter? Silence of the Lambs. I'd talk about it and the fake news would go crazy. Why does he keep mentioning? Well, because we won in a landslide. That's why they don't want to have Hannibal in our midst. And the day I signed this bill into law, almost every major promise made in the 2024 campaign already will have become a promise kept. And that's very important. Promises made, promises kept. And according to the Council of Economic Advisors, these reforms will protect or create more than 7 million jobs, add 3.1% to economic growth, reduce taxes for the typical American by nearly 15%, and increase take-home pay for the normal family of 4 by at least $13,000, and that takes place immediately. That's not bad, right? Look, I'm looking at that guy back there, right? That's pretty good. And if we had a person over at the Fed that would lower interest rates a little bit, that would be helpful too. It's hard to believe. This is on top of, you know, we have to fight this guy. He's not doing the job. Each point that he keeps it up is the equivalent of $300 billion. $300 billion. So if he lowered it to, it would save $600 billion. We have to work hard with cuts on that, right? That's a lot of cutting. And this guy could do it so easily. We don't have inflation. Well, we might have inflation. Yeah, and if you do, you raise the rate a little bit. That's okay. But we're going out because Biden gave us a lot of short-term debt. And given the short-term debt, he did us no favor. So I think what we'll do is we'll probably just extend the short-term debt and then go out, because I don't want to tie it up for 10 or 15 years at a high rate. But every point is it's really more, is $300 billion. So if we got it down to 1%, we're talking about almost $1 trillion in saving just with the stroke of a pen. No work, no missing anything, just like an accounting situation. Oh, Doug Collins, I just see Doug. Did I mention you, Doug? I don't think so. I'm glad I saw you. I'm glad that somebody's going to be in big trouble with you. They didn't write your name down, Doug. Somebody's in big, somebody's in, I got you. So we think of that, though. We save, and all you have to do is so simple. I'm explaining to this guy, and Biden extended him. That wasn't good. I'm explaining to him, you can do so much for our country. You could save $1 trillion just with a stroke of a pen. Just a little, the utterance of a sentence that we're going to be cutting. It's a shame. It's a shame. We're one of the highest. We should be the lowest. You know, with the United States of America, we'd have money coming in like at levels that they have never seen. I got a call the other day from the people in Congress because we're doing our bill. I didn't even tell you this, Mike, and they called. They said, there's something wrong with the numbers, sir. I said, what's wrong? I don't know. They're not balancing out. There's something really wrong. I said, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Well, we don't know. I said, what's the problem? We're taking in much more money than we have scheduled. I said, so far, that sounds good. They said, how much is it? About $80 billion. I said, do me a favor, check the tariff line. They called me back an hour later. Sir, we've taken in $88 billion in tariffs. Isn't that a beautiful thing? 88 billion. I thought I'd tell these little stories. Go off script and tell these little stories, Scott, right? Because it does make it a little more interesting. Although my speechwriters have just gotten every award in the book. Vince, where are you, Vince? Good. Where are we? Where's Ross? He's gotten all these awards and I'm going off the record all the time. Where is he? He didn't show up to the speech. He wrote the speech. He didn't show. Well, that means he has confidence in me. According to the Council of Economic Advisors, these reforms will protect or create more than 7 million jobs, add 3.1% to economic growth, reduce taxes for the typical American by nearly 15%, and increase take-home pay for a normal family by an incredible $13,000. All of these things are happening. And by the way, there's no inflation. All of the numbers I gave you, all of the money that's coming in, and maybe more importantly than the billions of dollars we're taking in with tariffs is the fact that we've got hundreds of plants going up all over the United States that never would have been here. I was with Howard and Scott and Texas Instruments the other day, and the head of Texas Instruments, they're going to spend $60 billion in the United States. And he said, sir, please don't do it to me. And I looked at him. I knew exactly what he meant. He said, you mean tariffs, right? He said, that's right. If you ever get rid of those tariffs, you've cost me a fortune. They're all coming in because they don't want to pay the tariffs, and they're coming in at levels. And it only works for the United States because it doesn't work for other countries, but it works for us. We have a record investment. We have records and everything. And when these places open up, that's bigger than the $15 trillion that I'm talking about. You know, you don't see it right away. But bigger is the fact that they're all coming in, they're building their factories, the AI factories and the auto plants. We have auto plants that are closing up in other countries. I don't want to specifically name the countries, but you know who they are. And they're coming into the U.S. and they're opening up and building like nobody's ever seen anything like it. I don't call it a miracle. I call it, if this should have been done 40 years ago, we would have never lost our auto. We lost 50% of our auto industry to China, Mexico, Canada, and various other countries. Should have never happened if you had a president that said, we're going to charge you tariffs. You're not going to build next to us. Send it in and take away our jobs. If you would have said 25, 50, or 100% tariff, not one company would have left. But they weren't business people. They were politicians, not very good ones and some good ones, but some really not good at anything, to be honest with you. We're going to stop the largest tax hike, and we're going to do that in history. This would be, if the bill doesn't pass, there'll be a 68% tax increase. Think of that, 68%, which would be the largest in history by about 40 points. And we'll make the Trump tax cuts permanent, expand the child tax credit, and we will deliver no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. Among the countless citizens who will benefit from these tax cuts is Malachi Krzyzewski, a devoted mom and DoorDash driver from Ripon, Wisconsin, who uses her tip income to support her son. To think of that, no tax on tips. And it was a very big problem. I was at a dinner in my beautiful building in Las Vegas, and unrelated to this, and I said, what's going on? I will never say good-looking waitress because looks don't matter anymore, you know, in our modern society. She happened to be beautiful, but I won't say that. I won't mention that. But nevertheless, a waitress came over and I said, how are you doing? She said, not good, sir. Why? The government is killing me on tips. And she looked at me, she said, sir, there should be no tax on tips. I said, say it again. There should be no tax on tips. I said, that's the coolest thing I've ever heard. I walked outside, the press was there, as always, waiting for something bad to happen, hundreds of them. I said, ladies and gentlemen, please announce tonight there will be no tax on tips. And a legend was made. We won Nevada by so much. Republicans don't win Nevada. We won Nevada. So I want to thank that young, beautiful waitress. Thank you very much. But with no tax on tips and other cuts, this bill will save Malachi thousands of dollars per year, enabling her to achieve her goal of visiting every U.S. state with her son. She wants to visit every state by the time he's 18 years old. So, Malachi, it sounds to me like you're off to a fantastic start. And where are you, Malachi? Where are you? Congratulations. Great. That's good. Thank you. Also with us today is Luke Wilson, a 23-year-old electoral lineman. He loves being an electrician, but in this case, the lineman. And these are guys that take big risk, and it's hard stuff. But if you know what you're doing, it's fine. He's from Harmony, Pennsylvania, as well as Dee Silva, a truck driver from Springfield, Missouri, where, by the way, our beautiful planes landed, our B-2s. They landed after 36 hours of flying. Great going, Pete. And they hit the target. And they hit the target, and the target has now been proven to be obliterated, just as we said. We had little fake news from CNN. Thank you very much, CNN, for that. With 3 million miles of driving under her belt, who mentors other women in her industry. And I just want to say, Luke and Dee spend countless hours working overtime to help make this country run. And this bill, the typical overtime worker like them will take home nearly $1,500 extra every single year. So you're talking about at least $1,500, and there will be no harassment because you were being harassed by the Democrats. So Luke and Dee, congratulations to you both. Thank you very much. Congratulations, wherever you may be. Thank you. Thank you very much. Also with us is James Benson, a third-generation auto worker from Belleville, Michigan, who has spent 26 years at Ford Motor Company, which is doing very well. They have a lot of plants in this country. If you have plants in this country, you're going to make a lot of money. And is a member of a tremendous group of people, auto workers. And I'll tell you, we love these people. Auto workers for Trump, and I came through for them, but they were with me long before I really thought. A lot of people said, is he going to run again? Will he run? They've always been with me, the auto workers. James was a lifelong Democrat until 2017 when he saw the benefits of our tax law, and he also liked Trump. Now, sometimes they can like the law, but if they don't like the candidate, it's not going to matter, right? Is that right, Marco? Marco knows, because he has been one hell of a great Secretary of State, right? Stand up, Marco. Everybody respects Marco.
Yes, he has.
Right? True. Everybody respects him. Now we're delivering an even bigger win for the auto workers by making interest on car payments fully tax deductible. You know, that's something only rich people seem to have gotten. I said, you know, and that was my idea. It's pretty simple. But I said, you know, the rich people, they always looking for deductions. We want deductions. Linda, did I say, will you please stand up? Linda McMahon. So great. How much is Harvard going to be charged? How much are you asking for Harvard? Because they really have violated a lot of different caveats, haven't they? Huh? A lot, like a lot. They've been given $5 billion over the years. Can you imagine? And that's over a short number of years. That's just the beginning. They have $52 billion sitting in the bank, and they haven't been nice to our country. So I want to thank Linda McMahon, who's been really fantastic. But I said on interest, I said, why couldn't we, if a car is made in the United States only, because otherwise we don't care if it's made someplace else, give the people that buy the car a deduction on the interest that they're paying to buy the car. And people said, what a great idea. It's so simple. It's like the paper clip. Somebody came up with the idea of a paper clip many years ago, 1817. and he became a very rich person. And everybody looked at it and said, why the hell didn't I think of that? But it's like the paperclip, but only if the car is made in America. Remember that, James. We're going to keep those Michigan auto factories roaring. And as you know, we won Michigan by a lot, Susie, right? We won Michigan by a big margin, and something that typically is not easy, but I think we won it. I actually think we won it 3 times in a row. So it's been a great state, but a big factor with the auto workers. They went with us very big, and I love them. The One Big Beautiful Bill will also be an incredible victory for American farmers, another group that we did great with, especially family farmers like James Cullifer of Virginia Beach. Our bill will provide 100% expensing so they can buy a new farm equipment. And by the way, the expensing is good for everybody, not just farmers. And it'll virtually eliminate the so-called estate tax or the death tax. So you have a farm, you leave it to your children. If you like the children, you leave it. If you don't worry about the people. No, some people don't want to leave them. They don't like their kids, you know? Anybody in here not liking their children, farmers? But if you like your kids, you want to leave it. And a lot of times what was happening before I got there, because I put this in the first tax bill, as you know, but people would die, they'd leave their farm. There was no cash, but there was value to the farm, sometimes good value. It's called real estate rich and cash poor. And the kids had no money, and they'd be foreclosed out by a bank. They'd borrow money to pay the estate tax. You don't have to pay estate tax anymore. That's pretty big stuff. So for the farmers and for others in small business, it's great. But James's family has been working in the land for generations. And with this bill, we will ensure that family farms like his can stay in the family for many generations to come. Where's James? James, around? Where's James? That's good. And you know what I mean, James, right? People pass away, they love their kids or whoever they're leaving, but they love their kids especially. And you won't have the family farmer anymore the long time because they were losing them to the banks, and they were losing them at record numbers. Not going to happen anymore. There's no tax. We're also going to empower American parents by expanding opportunity scholarships to provide school choice. School choice is a big deal. And we just got school working with the governor of Texas, as you know, Greg Abbott. We just had it passed in Texas. And I know about that. Somebody said, yeah, that was a big deal. They've been trying to get it for 9 years. And they asked me if I'd call the legislature, Republicans in the legislature, and I did. And I gave them a pep talk, and everybody voted for it. First time, they were shocked, but they never asked me to call them before. This was the first time, and they got it passed, right, Susie? It was amazing. And it was something that Dan and Greg and everybody, they really wanted.
Thank you, Logan. Appreciate it,
and
brother.
Ted Cruz wanted it badly. They all wanted it. So we got it in Texas, but you're going to have it. More and more people are talking about school choice. Good thing. This will be the godsend for mothers like Angelina Banks from Philadelphia. Where's Angelina? Where is Angelina? Oh. Oh, you are very pretty. She went out for a second and she's coming back. Okay. Where's Ange? Come on over here, Angelina. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, wow. How are you? I won't ask you where you've been, okay? I promise. But it's great to have you. It's great to have. I mentioned your name. I said, where's Angelina? He said, she'll be right back, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And Aubrey and Ava Jane, Angelina says the tax relief for childcare and education are a foundation for stability and dignity. I think those were your words, right? Stability and dignity. Good words for her family. And with the One Big Beautiful Bill, we're delivering both, empowering hundreds of thousands of families to choose the public, private, charter, religious school or the home school of their choice. And Angelina, thank you very much for being with us. Beautiful. Beautiful. So this bill will also be the single most important piece of border legislation ever to cross the floor of Congress. We will hire 3,000 new Border Patrol officers and 10,000 new ICE agents. And these people are great. I tell you what, I got to know a lot of them. And we have tremendous representation. They've been for me from day one. In fact, I shouldn't say this, but they endorsed me when I first ran, almost at the beginning. And they weren't sure if they were allowed to endorse me. And they said, we don't care, we're endorsing you. But they were great, and they've been my friends ever since. But think of that. So we're going to hire 3,000 new Border Patrol officers, 10,000 new ICE agents. And, you know, these ICE guys, they go into war zones, and they're tough, and they love our country. And if you're not going to be tough, you're not going to do well. But they are tough, and they'll break into a pack, and they call them a pack. Some of these packs come out of the jails of Venezuela. They come from places that you don't want to know about. They're gang members that have been all sent in here through Biden's open door stupid policy. The dumbest policy, I think, well, we have a lot of dumb policies, but the worst, I think, is open borders, where anybody comes into our country totally unvetted, totally unchecked. And they're drug dealers, and they're people that we don't want them. And they're murderers, you know, they're murderers. I told you, over 11,000 murderers. They're in here. 50% of those, by the way, murdered more than one person. And they came in, no check-in, no anything. It's so sad what that man has done to this country. We should never forget it, okay? We should never, ever forget it. With that whole group of people, I don't even think it was him. He didn't believe in open borders. He didn't believe in men playing in women's sports or transgender for everybody. But what that group of people has done to this country will never, ever, I don't think we can ever allow history to forget it. What they've done to us is so sad. We're going to fully fund the final sections of border wall, impose a new remittance tax on money sent back to foreign countries, and dramatically increase deportations to a bare minimum of 1 million illegal aliens per year. And what we're doing is we're really going after the criminal aliens, of which we have plenty to work with. People say, well, that's a lot, isn't it? Well, remember, these countries are very smart. They're headed up by people I know. In almost all cases, they're very smart people, and they have the people of great common sense. They're not sending the good people out. They're sending the bad people out, and they put them into caravans. I think I came up with that name, but somebody did. It's a great name, a caravan. Thousands and sometimes as many as 30,000 people walking right into our country. Again, last month we had none. Think of that. It's almost, people say it's almost impossible, but they come in, and at a minimum, they're not people that work very hard. They're people that are on welfare. They don't want them. They don't want them. They give them to us. It's incredible what's happened, and it's so sad to see. It's so sad. It could make you just sick to your stomach when you think about it. I was going to say it could make you cry, but I like to pretend I never cry. I don't want to be a crier, but it makes you sick to think of what they did. What they did to us is just sick. And guys, if we didn't have a Tom Homan, and if we didn't have some of the guys that we have working so hard and dangerously, the country wouldn't stand a chance. But we're getting them out, not as fast as they came in, because they came in and you'd see hundreds of thousands pour into our country in a day. But we're getting them out. And here today is Angel Dad Joe Abraham, the Angel Moms and Angel Dads. These are incredible people. They lost their precious 20-year-old daughter, Katie, in a hit and run after she was struck by an illegal alien from Guatemala. Katie was stopped at a traffic light, rear-ended, full force, going 60, 70 miles an hour right into the back of her car while she stopped. And she died immediately. And her killer, I think you could really say the killer, fled the scene. And Joe, we will end this invasion once and for all. And we're always going to remember the memory of Katie, that beautiful, beautiful 20-year-old daughter of yours. Where's Joe? Is she around here? Joe? Come here, Joe. Come here.
Awful.
Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Thank you, Jeff, very much. Also with us is Sarah Stewart from Kerrville, Texas, who lost her brother to the fentanyl epidemic. that has inundated her small town. Our bill provides billions and billions of dollars to stop fentanyl and other illicit narcotics. We're also charging other countries like Mexico, Canada, and China billions of dollars in taxes that we put on because they've allowed people that are selling fentanyl to go through their countries, or in the case of China, they send it here, and paying a lot of money at least, but would rather stop it. I think we're doing a big job of that, but would rather stop it. And other illicit narcotics pouring across the border and stealing more American lives. And thank you. Sarah will not rest until that fight is done. We're going to get that fight done. Sarah Stewart is where? Sarah? Hi, Sarah. Beautiful. Thank you. Good guy, huh? Yeah, I can see that. I also want to thank the president of the National Border Patrol. His name is Paul Perez. He's been with me from the beginning, and Brandon before him. These are great people. I've gotten very friendly with some of these people from Border Patrol and ICE because I'd call them once every 2 or 3 days. How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? If you remember, Kamala was the border czar, and in 4 years, she never made one call to Paul or Brandon or anybody else. And I'd like to have Paul come up, say a couple of words. If you're here, Paul. Where are you, Paul? Oh, there you are. Go ahead.
President Trump made promises that he's kept. Now it's time for Congress to back him up. We need to end the chaotic and recklessness that Biden allowed into this country. The millions of people that are out there, we're going to get with this big, beautiful bill. We've got the funding, we've got the technology. We need everything in that bill to get it done so that no more families are victimized. And those that have victimized families, we can go get them out with ICE. Our officers and agents are not afraid. We're ready to take this fight to them, and we've been so because of President Trump's leadership. Thank you, sir.
Hell yeah.
He's been a great friend of the country. He really has. And he's worked with Tom Homan and Christie and all the people that work so hard. They have been incredible. And, I wasn't going to do this, but I see Tom Homan is sitting there and, I have to call him up. Look at that. I don't call up the Speaker of the House. I don't call up Marco or Peter or anyone. But I want to call this guy because this guy is keeping us very, very safe. Come on up, Tom.
Tom Homan. Let's go.
Well, look, I think this issue of the big, beautiful bill should be nonpartisan. I don't know what the hell's the matter with everybody up in Congress? People are dying every day.
Yes.
ICE is arresting 3 times as many criminals that the Biden administration did. We're taking public safety threats and national security threats off the street every single day. We got over 600,000 illegal aliens with criminal histories walking the streets of this country. We got less than 5,000 deportation officers. This should be a no-brainer. The more resources we get, if we get this bill passed, we got more agents on the road. We buy more beds, we get more transportation flights. More agents means more bad guys arrested, taken off the streets of this country every single day. Every day we arrest a public safety threat or national security threat. This makes this country much safer. Who the hell would be against that? And I get irritated, I get pissed off because I'm sick of meeting angel moms and dads. You want to talk about family separation? They bury their children. So this, I've done this since 1984. I've worked for 6 different presidents. No one has had the success of the Trump administration. We got the most secure border in the history of this nation today. But we need more border wall. Border walls save lives. Women and children can't get over that wall, which means they go to a place where there's not a wall. And what's waiting on them? The men and women of the Border Patrol who take care of this humanitarian needs and save their lives. We already got fentanyl seizures down half. Fentanyl seizures should be 100%. We should have 0 fentanyl coming to this country. We need money to help secure that border at a higher level. Stop the fentanyl from coming in. Stop the sex trafficking of women and children. Stop the known inspected terrorists coming across that border. Right now, I was looking at the stats today. ICE is arresting a record number of known suspected terrorists in this country along with the FBI. With more money, we can arrest more of these people, make this country safer. This is a nonpartisan issue. Let's make this country safe again. So to the Democrats and the Republicans and the Independents, I don't care who you're from, pass the bill so we make this country safe, so we can stop the violence against ICE officers. Let's make this country safe again. And without that bill, it's going to be a hard road. We got a lot of people to look for, a lot of people to arrest, a lot of national security threats we know are in this country. We need to find them. We need more money to do that. We need more agents to do that. For God's sake, let's pass this bill and get this done.
No bullshit. Look, Trump loves it. Trump loves it. Trump loves that dude.
He got so angry he didn't even shake my hand or look at me. But he's right. He's right. And we have no money for the border if we don't pass this bill. We have virtually nothing. And so we're going to get it done for you, Tom, and for all of the people that have worked with you. It's been amazing, the job you've done. And just in finishing, look, this is the largest tax cut in the history of our country. They want to give you, the Democrats want to give you the biggest tax increase in the history of our country. They have things, whether it's border or economic development or no tax on tips and Social Security and no tax on overtime, and all these different things. There are hundreds of things here. It's so good. And we're going to also cut costs. We're cutting $1.7 trillion in this bill, and you're not going to feel any of it. And your Medicaid is left alone. It's left the same. Your Medicare and your Social Security are strengthened. We're not cutting. The Democrats are going to destroy all three of them because it's not sustainable. They'll end up cutting your Medicare, Medicaid in half. So we're going to do a real job. It's so important. So if you can, call your senators, call your congressmen. We have to get the vote. I want to thank you. You have been unbelievable, Mr. Speaker. You have worked round the clock for months, And, you know, I shouldn't say this, but we don't want to have grandstanders where one or two people raise their vote. We don't know. And they do it to grandstand. That's all. Not good people. They know who I'm talking about. I call them out. But we don't need grandstanders.
I know who he's talking about.
Back and bring it back strong. And our country is going to be stronger, bigger, better than ever before. We're going to make it better than ever before. And that's despite the bad hand that we were dealt 6 months ago. We were dealt a really bad hand. We were dealt a sick hand. It's unbelievable. You know, when I came back yesterday, as you know, I made a big trip to a place where we had 28 countries represented, and we did something that's never been done. They've raised the number of money, the amount of money that they've spent to $1 trillion a year, and that's for world safety. But they all asked me the same question. They said, how could you have allowed this to happen to your country? I said, I didn't do it. But they said, how could you allow people to pour in? They don't understand it. They all have borders. They have fences, they have walls, or they have just strong people standing there. You can't do it. And they said to me, you know, it's amazing that they allowed these things to happen. And it's amazing, too. I agree. You know, as a business guy, I always like to understand where the other side's coming from. What do they want? What do they get? And, you know, you can make good deals based on understanding the other side. I never understood the other side in this case. Why would they allow people to pour into our country unchecked? You know, I can see people wanting people to come in, and you let them come in. You have a vetting process. You let good people. We're letting a lot of good people in, but they're coming in legally. But why would you allow people to come in that you can look at them and say, big trouble, big trouble? Why would you do it? It's nobody understands. And a lot of people say voting, but, you know, we've got to strengthen up our elections because the voting is crooked as hell. Got to strengthen it up. But it's not that. It's either they're stupid and they're not stupid, or they hate our country. But we love our country, and we're going to stop this madness, and we're going to get this bill approved. And all of the things that I've been talking about now for 2 years on the campaign trail, and we won, remember, we won every single swing state. We won by millions of votes. We won everything. We won every, it was a landslide. We won something that nobody talks about, districts. You have thousands of districts. We won 2,750 to 505. Think of that. That's why when you see a map, the whole map is red. That stands for Republican, by the way, because it stands for a lot of other things too, but it stands for Republican with a little piece of blue on each side. But that's why, think of that, 2,750 districts to 505 districts. That's what, this was a slaughter, but it gave us a mandate to do some great things. And I want to thank John Thune, and I want to thank the speaker, and I want to thank
I'll check it out.
Marco and everybody here. They have been so incredible. Pam, you've been unbelievable as the Attorney General. We appreciate it. Not easy, not easy. And we're coming back faster than anybody ever thought possible. I told you what they said to me on just trips by very smart people, but we're going to make this, we're going to do this very quickly. It's happening a lot faster than even I thought possible. And we're going to be celebrating very quickly, and we're going to be celebrating for a long time because we're turning our country around. We're getting our country back, and we're ruling with common sense, you know, whether you're conservative or liberal, or as they like to say, progressive. They don't like the word liberal anymore. Progressive, I think it's a beautiful word too. That's why I call them liberal. It's too nice a word. I don't know how you can be progressive when you're turning the country backwards. But no matter what you are, it's all about common sense. And I think that's the way I've ruled. I do what's right. I want to have borders. I don't want to have transgender for anybody that happens to leave the house at a young age, the things they do. I don't want to have men playing in women's sports. That's got to be, you know, they say it's an 80-20. I think it's a 97-3 issue. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. There was a long distance race the other day, or at least reasonably recently, and they had a top man and they had top woman, but it was a woman's race, and the man entered. He happened to be transitioned. Isn't that lovely? And he entered the race, and he beat the champion woman by 5 hours and 14 seconds. 5 hours, that's a lot. Think of it. You're waiting 5 hours for your beautiful daughter to come in. Come on, baby, let's go. You can do it. He won by 5 hours and 14 seconds. It is crazy, and it's so demeaning, and they don't want to change. I see it the other day. Guys like Schumer, our great Palestinian senator, this guy, no, he's changed. He used to like Jewish people. Now he's totally against Jewish people. It's the most incredible transformation I think I've ever seen. But who would allow this to happen? In other sports, the same thing. Try the weightlifting numbers someday. You want to see some big differences. In a million years, the women will never catch these numbers. It's not going to happen. And it's very demeaning to women. And I don't like it when it's demeaning to women. So we're turning the country around fast. We love you all. Thank you very much. And good luck. Thank you.
The absolute GOAT, President Trump, Palestinian senator. Oh, man. Dude, that line from Tom Homan, he says, talk about separating families. These people are burying their children. Like, that was a powerful line. I don't know if he's ever said that before, but that's the first time that it stood out to me. That was very, very powerful.
Mr. President, can Congress finish this by July 4th? We hope so. Mr. President, what's the message on the wall? Please remain in your seats until all state participants have departed the room.
President Trump highlighting the one big beautiful bill in an event in the East Room, how important it is to pass this for those working men and women who were flanked behind him, who really support this consumer economy, on top of those angel moms and dads. It was a great point by border czar Tom Homan that they talk about.
All right. So yeah, that was some good stuff from Tom Homan for sure. Let's see where we are. All right. First of all, thank you guys for the super chat. Appreciate it. Let's see. Finkel says Iran's nuke program is not set decades back or obliterated. Trump warned them 6 days in advance. $20. Let's see. Let me see. I'm sorry, I got to respond to this really quick. Hang on just a minute. I'll call you back. All right, there we go. Anyway, thank you for the 20. I appreciate it. Let's see, but it is obliterated, and I see you in the chat. But it is obliterated. You can continue to watch CNN. That's totally fine. CNN will tell you it's not obliterated, and that's totally fine if you believe that. Pretty cool to tell Trump, for Jeremy to call Trump and tell him, or tell Trump I'll call him back. Yeah, Trump was calling because he had just got done with his press conference. I was like, let you go later. But I do appreciate the 20, and you can continue to send me more and more super chats to tell me how Orange Man is bad. I support that completely. Vault 95 says, Bernie threatening Rogan. You're walking down a dangerous path. Babo Yogi says, FYI, you know you're in a bad strip club when you can toss quarters at the dancers and they stick. Just saying, mod lives matter. Logan Miller with 5 gifted memberships. Thank you. James O.P. says, God bless our president. John Gets Gaming says, Trump, the fake news said we failed, but our soldiers delivered their massive ordnance penetrators and their huge payloads got blown, believe me. John Cannon says, new Middle East peace plan incoming, end to Gaza war in 2 weeks. Gaza will be governed by 4 neighboring countries. Hamas leaders exiled. 2-state solution agreed by Israel for WB. Huge if true. Richard says, I bet Tom Homan bitched out his wife the whole time she was making him put on that suit. Netflix Yahoo says, Democrat staffer currently gutting the big beautiful bill. Check Eric Daugherty's part 2. And Corrigan says Homan would make Mario Kart safe again from Alan. The legend Alan. We all love the legend Alan. Over on Rumble, we got Steve Strange says, if Jeremy does not like Florida that much, he should move. Yeah, Florida's terrible. Stay away. Stay away from Florida, New Yorkers. It's terrible. Eric John Pizarro says, first impressions of Band of Brothers. Haven't started it yet. We were going to start it this Thursday, but I knew I was going to be busy. So I think we're going to start it next Thursday over on Locals. We are doing a Locals watch party tonight with, believe, Jurassic Park, I think. Okay, so speaking of Florida, how can you not love the state of Florida? Look at this right here. Construction has begun in Florida for a facility surrounded by alligators to detain 5,000 illegals. It will be ready in 1 month. Alligator Alcatraz.
Next month, 5,000 migrants will be housed in trailers and heavy-duty tents at this remote abandoned airfield.
As I call it, Alligator Alcatraz.
In a promotional video set to music, Florida's Attorney General lays out what he considers a deterrent for any potential escapees.
People get out, there's not much waiting for them other than alligators and pythons.
But some local officials warn the environmental impact could be devastating.
We have environmental and physical stewardship and safety concerns.
The Trump administration has said it wants to get up to 100,000 beds at detention centers across the country. Starting next month,
That is awesome right there, man. That is awesome. So I am very, very happy with the state of Florida. Unless you're a New Yorker. If you're a New Yorker, you should never come to Florida. It is a terrible state. You should never come here. You will hate it. It's horrible. There's nothing to do. Government is terrible. You should stay as far away if you're a New Yorker. You will hate it here. Trust me. You don't want to be here. Stay away. Stay away from Florida. Let's see. Keys, it says, okay, if the nuclear program wasn't obliterated, do we all think no Israel would be begging us to keep bombing? That's how you know it really set them back. Yeah, I mean, look, Pete Hegseth said it perfectly at his press conference. President Trump has said it perfectly. Marco Rubio, and the Iran and the Ayatollah and all that, they're going to be putting out like false messages because they need to save face. But yeah, all accounts have said that it has been completely obliterated. So, Texas is closed too, says Darth Gavel. So New Yorkers, they don't want you in Texas either. Darth Gavel says Orange Man bad for the Democrats grift. All right, let's see. Let me catch up because we were watching that press conference for so long. I need to see if there's any new news that popped up. Because we were watching that. And it was great from President Trump. It was great to hear from him. He's funny as hell. He's always got something funny that he drops. By the way, I just saw this clip. I can't believe it's real. I had to double check to make sure that it was real. This is absolutely insane. Look at this right here. Look at this. Okay. Have you guys seen this? This is in Louisiana. Okay. This is in Louisiana. Now, as a person who previously had a CDL license, this pisses me off beyond belief. This is insane. All right. Now, luckily, the person was not hurt, did not go to the hospital or anything, which is crazy to think about. Watch this. Oh my goodness. Who is driving this truck? Who is driving this truck? One more time. We're going to watch it one more time now that you're prepared. All right? Watch this. Goodness. That is terrifying. We need to find out who was driving this truck. Right now, they need to have their CDL license completely revoked forever. You probably need to have your regular driver's license revoked forever. Terrifying, dude. Holy crap. Whew. So, all reports say that this person is not hurt, sustained minor injuries, and did not even have to go to the hospital. However, I don't see how this person did not go to the hospital for to check to see if he got a concussion or something. I mean, look at how his body, like, let me slow this thing down. Playback speed. Let's go to half speed. Dude, there is no way he shouldn't be checked out for a concussion, dude. There's no way he shouldn't have been checked, at least the way his body, like his neck snapped back. Oh, that's crazy, man. So anyway, from all reports, the guy is completely fine. There's no injuries. He sustained minor injuries, and he did not go to the hospital. But the person that was driving that truck absolutely should have their CDL license revoked immediately. In all reality, they should also have their Nintendo Switch Online account revoked. They should not even be able to play Mario Kart, all right? They shouldn't even be allowed to play Mario Kart. That's how bad it is. Let's see. Finkel for 20 says nobody said the Air Force failed. The Air Force did their orders. To repeat, the DIA report is not a dunk on the Air Force. It's a fact check on Trump. Trump's orders from Putin was stop, and he did. I don't know. Wait, so you're saying that Putin told Trump to stop? So now are you running with the narrative that Trump is a Russian agent? Is that the narrative you're running with? I thought he worked for Israel. So now he's back to working for Russia. I appreciate the 20. So thank you. And I respect that you have your beliefs. I think your beliefs are retarded. But I appreciate that you feel strongly enough to send them in super chats. But yeah, If you believe that, that's totally fine. I don't. But I guess that's the opposite of Trump's Israel asset, and he works for Israel. So now you're back to the Russia hoax. So thank you. I appreciate it. John Gets Gaming says hot-based women in Western PA, just saying. Fantastic Knox says, just saw a video of Sneeko who says he voted for Trump, says he voted for the Zohan because he isn't Zionist. Sneeko, don't ever leave New York City and have at it. Yeah, look, man, I don't pay attention to Sneeko. I don't pay attention to any of those guys. I don't pay attention to Andrew Tate, Sneeko, any of those guys really. But yes, I did see the video you're talking about because somebody on my timeline retweeted it. And so, yeah, he's basically like, I don't agree with a lot of what he said, but he's not a Zionist or he's not, I was like, oh my God. Okay. So, I even saw, Asmongold's reaction to it, which Asmongold's reaction to it was a lot more level-headed, where Asmongold was basically like, I support this guy, not because I agree with him, but because he's not a puppet to the system or something to that effect. But it's like, yeah, I mean, I understand the point Asmon was making about a guy that was going to flip the system upside down, but this guy ain't that guy. No matter how much you liked what he said, there's no justification for supporting this clown, dude. None. Vault 95 says the tractor trailer driver ran a red light too. I didn't even look at that part. Well, no, he did not. No, he did not run the red light. No, he didn't run the red light. He's turning. The red light from the direction where we're looking is red. He didn't run the red light. He was turning. So he did not run the red light. But he is an idiot and he should have his license revoked for sure. 1000%. Phil McCracken for 999 says, I drive a forklift at my job. I was in the back of the truck, just drove off with me in the back. If I got into the truck any later, I could have fell and really gotten hurt. Holy fuck. That is scary. I've been in situations that have been pretty scary on a forklift because, but like so I was in the back. The truck just drove off with me in the back. If I had gotten to the truck any later, it could have felt, you would have been in big trouble. You would have been in really big trouble. Let's see. But I'm glad you're okay. So, Daniel John says 38 struggling with dating and sucks. Any suggestion? I'm not a dating advice show. I would say the number one thing to not do is I would not go on to YouTube and super chat about dating advice, especially on this channel, because you're going to get roasted. So that's going to be rule number one. But I mean, listen, I've been on lockdown. I've been locked down for over a decade now, a couple decades. So I don't know. Apparently there's so I saw something about Tinder and like a guy that swiped left or right like hundreds of thousands of times and then he finally got a date, and I don't really get that. I don't know what swipe right or swipe left means. I don't really know how that works. But from what I understand, these days, apparently it's easy to get dates because of social media and these dating apps. So, but I can give you one piece of advice. If you wear a Geeks and Gamers shirt, you will probably get laid by a hot chick. Geeks and Gamers shirts, absolutely. But in all seriousness, I hope it works out for you, man. It's a crazy world out there, man. So, I would want nothing to do with the dating scene today. When when I was back in my day, because I'm an old man now, but we didn't have all this technology and shit. You know what I mean? And women like confidence. That's simple. That's really it. Like a lot of guys don't understand that. Women love confidence. If you don't portray confidence, they see right through that shit. 100%. Women love confidence. Fake it till you make it. All right? Maybe you don't have money. Pretend that you got money. All right? Just act like you got all the answers. Women like confidence. They do. Chester Wolf the Griffin says, the incident involving the truck that is DP, is it Schenker, is a German railway company. They only hire Europeans. They are not used to driving huge American trucks. Oh, on the one that I just showed? Interesting. Bullshit your way through. Yeah, I mean, that's it for like anything too, by the way. Like, again, when I worked at Home Depot, all right? When I worked for Home Depot, my job, one of my jobs, I mean, I worked lumber, I worked different departments, but like when I worked as the delivery, like I just loaded the pallets in the morning for the delivery drivers. So, I'd get up at like 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning. I'd go in, I'd get the list, the commercial delivery list. I would have to go through, all the store and, get all the products, wrap them on a pallet, secure them on the pallet, load them onto the truck. And then the driver would come in. He would verify everything that I picked throughout the store. And then he would go out for deliveries. When I would meet girls and they would be like, well, what do you do for Home Depot? Well, I am the when I would work it up in how I would say it, because I was just an order picker is kind of what my job was, is like I was an order picker. I was like, I am the delivery coordinator for our store, and I run commercial deliveries out of our warehouse. And it made it sound so much better than what it really was. And like, oh, that sounds interesting. Yeah, that sounds really interesting. And like, I just go in and, we usually make, like, truth is I just go in, I talk a lot of shit. I make a lot of racist jokes with my coworkers as we're picking, the store. And that's pretty much all we do. But, you're like, oh, yeah, I work all the logistics out for the commercial delivery system, make it all sound like I was a big deal. And they go, oh, man, wow, you're a big shot. I'm like, oh, yeah. Oversell it. Matt Frog says, disappointed Trump is defending Netflix Yahoo in his criminal charges. BB is a POS and congratulated Biden in 2020. He's probably guilty. He probably is, but Trump is frying bigger fish right now, man. Like, at the end of the day, that was probably like, Trump is going to have to make some concessions. He's trying to get peace over there. It's not easy. And so I'm sure that was part of it, where Trump's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Stop bombing. I'll put out a tweet to say that your criminal trial needs to be gone. Like, everything is a deal with Trump. Everything is a negotiation with Trump. Everything is to get leverage with Trump. He put that out there to continue to have more leverage over the situation. That's all it comes down to. And so many people look at that and go, oh, look, Trump is he's doing more work for Netflix Yahoo. And I'm like, do you guys not understand what happens in these situations? Like, Trump is a deal maker. Executive logistic coordinator at Depot. Yes, that's it right there. I do understand it, though. When I saw that too, I rolled my eyes, but I'm like, look, he's negotiating, man. It's what he does. McCock says, my PP is too big, scares them away. What do I do? McCock, I would suggest dating women and not men, since you love men so much. Maybe try dating women. Maybe that'll work out better for you. Fantastic Knox says, what I'm saying is those who vote like that, despite not paying attention to what their policies are, idiots. You get what you voted for, so don't complain when they make the state country worse. Agreed. Fault 95 says he ran the red light. Light turns green. Take that CDL. He didn't run the red light, though. He didn't run the red light. Daniel Jones says, LOL, thanks. Mad respect. God bless. Hey, man, good luck to you, brother. Hey, look, there's some ladies in the chat. They ain't many of them. There's a few. Some ladies in the chat here, all right? So you never know. Never know what'll happen. Dan Vicious over on Rumble says, I love these retards thinking socialism is fighting the system. I know it's scary. It is scary. Mod Eric says, deport the dog kicker and drop him halfway in the flight back 20,000 feet, 100%. And then Mod Eric says, this commie who wants to be NYC mayor will introduce policies and expect the rest of the USA to pay for them to be communist. Sad but true. Okay, so we're going to end it right there. I might go live again later tonight, depending on what news we have. So, oh, look, Willie Will's in the house. What's up, Willie Will? Good to see you, brother. Kingdom Hearts Gamer says, and if you don't have a girlfriend, you can always F Stifler's mom. Stifler's mom. American Pager says, Massey and Rand are grandstanding POSs. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan at all. Good to see Willie Will here in the house. Go live tonight, says Z Highness. All right, I probably will. Barry says W stream. All right, thank you. I'm glad you guys enjoyed the stream. Complete Random says, thanks for the show, Jeremy. We appreciate you, even if you don't read Rumble chat. Boom! That's the most recent Rumble comment, and I just read it. I have the Rumble chat pulled up. Braxton says, ladies, I beat Jeremy at knockout tournament last night. Don't all rush me at once. Oh, man. That's awesome right there. It baited A+. I see you, Complete Random. That right there should totally work, Braxton. That should totally work right there. So hopefully it will. And yeah, we had a great time last night playing Mario Kart. We had a great crowd. It was super awesome. Every Wednesday night we do that. And I run my perspective on D-Day Cobra Gaming. So if you guys are interested in watching those, make sure you check it out. I'm also thinking about going live this weekend to play with our locals members. I'll be live on the D-Day Cobra Gaming channel, but if you want to join us, locals members, you can join us, and that should be fun. Also, tomorrow night at midnight, the Uncle IDOT shirt is gone. So if you have not, make sure you go check that out. So hopefully, if you guys are interested, you will get a chance to go check that out. And like I said, midnight tomorrow night, they'll be gone. We'll roll out some more Cobra Cast merch because I know you guys have been asking for Cobra Cast merch. I got a couple of designs that we'll be launching hopefully this weekend or on Monday. Kingdom Hearts Gamer says, I bought mine. Hell yeah. And Lance Finn says, get in line, ladies, with the Braxton comment right there. So, all right, guys, thank you so much. Do appreciate it. Might see you later tonight. I'll let you guys know. Have a good evening. We'll talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone.